My name is Michelle Mwamba. I'm a grade 11 student from UNIPO International School, Maputo, Mozambique.
Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Manique. I'm a grade 10 student from UNIPO International School, Maputo, Mozambique. So our project name is Anti-BPA Chain. So over the past 70 years, the world is experiencing the plastic revolution. Bisphenol A, BPA, is an industrial chemical that has been used to make certain plastics and resins. It's causing a tremendous negative impact in humans and the ecosystem, causes irreversible diseases, and affects many ecological systems. A literary review made us think that the production of this product should be banned, with the objective of reducing the noted impact of plastic recycling and the use of biodegradable materials are proposed. The aim is to contribute for a non-plastic environment and to avoid non-infectious chronic diseases. In our country, plastic is everywhere. While it is likely impossible to eliminate plastic completely from our life, there are steps and methods that can be taken to reduce the noted amount of plastic. The aim of this project is to inform the world about how dangerous the production of this chemical is to humans and the ecosystems.
The United Nations Environment Programme is leading global voice of the environment. It provides leadership and encourages partnership in caring for the environment by inspiring, informing, and enabling people and nations to improve the quality of life without compromising that of future generations. Based in this noble mission and vision from the United Nations, our project was conceived. However, we are living in the plastic era. Scientists have found evidences that this multi-use product is cause of many diseases and damage to the environment. And many of these evidences were found at level of preventive alone. The present paper is based in literary review from scientific publications. A set of those publications switches on our consciousness to start thinking about ban or recycle the plastic, or even in biodegradable materials as an alternative to it. As Mr. Ashok Puri said in the Environment Day, we are in a plastic pollution crisis. We see it everywhere, in our rivers and oceans. In fact, the industrialized world produces an immense amount of plastics. More than 45 million kilograms of plastics are produced annually in the United States alone. What about the rest of the world? Studies in public health reveal that plastics are toxic for humans, animals, and ecosystems.
Nowadays, we cannot imagine a life without plastic products because it is useful for many purposes. As a consequence, we are condemned to live with the plastic pollution from yesterday, and we are making the situation worse if we do not change our behavior. Plastic pollution is endangering our life and house, the earth, as it affects many ecological systems and aquatic ecosystems. For these statuses, two questions are raised. Number one, what is the real impact of plastic in human physiology in aquatic ecosystems? Number two, which strategies can be set to change this scenario? The methods used to write paper was a review of scientific papers published mainly by the United States, Japan, and China research institutions. Many products and instruments that we use daily are composed by a certain percentage of plastic or are completely composed of it. And it is difficult to imagine the modern life without this versatile product because of some of its characteristics, long life and durability. All around the world, billions of tons of plastics are produced each year. This volume tends to increase because of the new formula conceived to attract the global appetite. A revision of scientific literature about the impact of plastics in the human health and ecosystems has elucidated that this product is extremely dangerous for humans and the ecosystems.
There is a growing consensus that plastics aren't as friendly as we think to be. They contain some chemicals that are toxic for human, animals, and ecosystems, and bisphenol A is a clear example of that. BPA is an organic synthetic compound belonging to the group of diphenylmethane derivatives and bisphenols. It's a colorless solid, soluble in organic solvents but poorly soluble in water. It's a man-made compound, which means that it doesn't occur naturally in the environment. It's used as a starting material for the manufacture of many consumer goods, such as plastic bottles, sports equipment, CDs, and DVDs. Epoxy resins are used to line water pipes and coating in the inside of many food and beverages cans and to produce thermal paper. In 2015, billion tons of BPA were produced for the manufacture of a hard-side plastic known as polycarbonate plastic, making it one of the most produced compounds worldwide. But since 2008, several governments have been investigating its safety and found that exposure to high amounts of BPA can can be dangerous to human ecosystems and animals.
Exposure of BPA in humans. Bisphenol A exposure in general population comes primarily from the consumption of industrialized foods and beverages. Drugs and medical devices also cause human exposure to BPA and can leach the chemical into tissues. The highest estimated amount of exposure to BPA occurs during prolonged medical procedures, especially in neonates, in intensive care units, for infants undergoing prolonged medical procedures, and for dialysis patients. Based on the available data, the senior concluded that the adverse effects of BPA might exist in such cases, exceed the reference value, and the exposed population can be particularly vulnerable. In addition, several studies indicate that skin contact with thermal paper coatings can contribute significantly to human exposure of BPA. It's also possible to pick BPA through air, dust, water, and even sand from the beaches. As a result, 90% of humans have BPA in their bodies right now, according to evidences.
The evidences. First, a sample tested 2,517 people and found BPA in the urine of more than 90% of those people, which included children from 6 years and older and adults. The highest average concentrations were found in children. Secondly, BPA has been found in human breast milk, so children who are formula fed have higher BPA intake than children who are breastfed, because exposure increases when polycarbonate baby bottles are used for formula feeding, especially if they're heated. In third step, blood level increases following the consumption of BPA-containing polycarbonate bottles. BPA has been proven effects in humans as follows. Once the BPA comes into the human body through medical devices, the capability of the metabolism to form a non-toxic metabolite is lower.
Hormone levels, reproductive disorder, brain behavior problems, heart problems, increased risk to children, diabetes and obesity, asthma, and breast and prostate cancer.
So, now that we have established that BPA concentrations are approaching problematic levels, we need to ask ourselves what we can do to solve this situation. The first easy answer is to stop putting plastic in the oceans. Some small plastic parts may make their way into the ocean accidentally, but there are definitely ways from preventing large plastic bags from reaching the ocean through better consumer recycling education and industrial waste removal practices.